Hi, I'm Joseph Berardo. At MagnaCare, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the health care issues that affect their lives. That's why we're proud to support the programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Oscar Health Insurance, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the heart of academic medicine, Johnson & Johnson, Valley National Bank, NJM, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, and more, with a focus on safety and financial stability, the Fidelco Group, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Promotional support provided by Commerce Magazine and by Meadowlands Regional Chamber, building essential connections that drive business growth.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato at the Tisch WNET studio here in the heart of Lincoln Center. I should say the very cold studio here because our very special guest, Tamron Hall, has just been complaining about the studio. She's the co-host of the third hour of NBC's legendary Today Show and the host of MSNBC's Live with Tamron Hall. Those studios aren't this cold?
This is stunning. It's like
stunning.
I can't even move. You're gonna have your staff, your team will just pick me up and just carry me out. If I fall, I will crumble like ice on this. This is crazy.
You know, nobody believes that until they don't see anything coming out of your mouth. Like, they don't see any. It's not that cold.
This is the coldest studio I've ever. There should be a warning on the front of the door. And when your team called to book, just a warning. Steve is amazing, but his studio is really cold.
You know who else? Who else complained about this? Gayle?
Gayle King.
Gayle King came in here and said she refused to do the show. Like, when she works with Charlie Rosen this morning over at CBS.
I'm from Texas.
She.
If it's colder than 80, I'm unhappy. This is so.
It's going to warm up. You're going to feel it.
You're going to feel anyone?
Come on. We're doing this around the holidays in 2015. It'll air after. But you feel the warmth,
yeah,
no?
Okay.
And by
then
the way,
I get a nice cold cup of water.
Yeah,
Thanks, Steve.
yeah. Could we get some coffee? Some hot chocolate? By the way, it's always warm and lovely around the Today Show, right?
It is.
Why?
It's morning TV, and I think that because it is so early, you have no defense, and you really have to like people, and you have to really enjoy your job and the people around you. Think about it. When you're up in the morning, you love your wife, your beautiful daughter, Olivia. The people
watch
that make
the Today Show every day.
Watch Today Show. Those are the two people who make you the happiest. But even they can get on your nerves in the morning. So you've got to be around people you love or really, really like in the mornings. And that's why it's such a special place. And I love morning TV. It's just my thing. And
by the way, Tamron did the Today Show, went to MSNBC right over around the corner at 30 Rock, right?
Yeah.
And just came right over here, 66th and Broadway.
And I left my coat downstairs. Little did I know.
Oh, come on. Will you lay off the studio? How about this?
I'll give you a loan for heat. I know people. I can,
We choose to have it this way because it keeps everyone so sharp.
Yeah,
but here's my question.
Yes, sir.
Every day, get up what time?
4:30-ish, 4 a.m. today, 4:30 most days.
Okay. Your team that you work with every day, describe them.
Energetic, loving, by name or by character?
Because we've had some of them here. Willie was here recently.
Oh, Willie Geist. I mean, we just had an incredible moment on air. Patti LaBelle surprised us with her Patty's Pies, which have been trending all over.
Big.
Yeah, she surprised us. Willie, I would describe as hilarious, loving, vulnerable, which you don't see in guys often, and he's just willing to be Willie and who he is. Authentic. Savannah, friendly, loving, energetic. She's like a warm hug. That's the best way I can describe her. Hoda the party, we all know that.
Sure.
Natalie is solid. She's the most competitive person. I said, listen, when I have kids, whether I have them or adopt them, I'm shuffling to Natalie's house so they can learn how to play a sport. Oh my gosh, she's like, we're winning.
Really?
on every level.
Hold on, I gotta say, we're Rutgers grads. You think she's hardcore?
She is. I'm not kidding. The other day we had something on cookies, and she's like, competitive about the number of chocolate chips in the cookie. I'm like, okay, but she is so competitive, but in the most loving way.
Yes.
Her 2 sons, I tell her all the time, I want to use her life as a model of being that working mom and really knowing how to, or trying to divide that time that is so complicated.
Sure.
She does such a great job at it. Al, as you well know, it's like I go to work with an icon, a TV icon that I watched pretty much every day of my life, my adult life, until I made it to the Today Show.
What an upbeat person.
He is. And Matt is the best in the business. This guy can go from, interviewing a world leader like no other to interviewing Charlie Sheen to being dressed like Pamela Anderson in a bikini.
Have some Halloween show.
Exactly. The last 4 years he's dressed like a woman, and then the next day he's interviewing, the President of the United States and doing the best and the most challenging interview that you can see.
Tamron, you are the first African American in this role on morning television.
On the Today
Show.
Mm-hmm.
Any particular pressure that you feel in that role?
Not at all. It's not about the pressure. It's just about exposing the audience to who we are. We are a diverse nation. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. My mom is from a very small town in Texas. She was raised by her father. Her mother died when she was 10. And I'm just the product of their love and their light and their commitment to being great parents. So when I'm on that set, yes, I'm African American, but I'm the product of 2 parents who put their love and soul into that individual. And I hope that there are people who watch every day and say, that could be my daughter, not that could be my black daughter, because they may not be African American, but that could be my daughter, that could be my friend. But it is special. I remember first seeing Iola Johnson on the news in Dallas, Texas in the 80s. I'm like 10 or 12 years old. I'd never seen an African American, anchor, and
what
my
did it mean to you?
My dad said that could be you. And he used her as, the bar for everything that I would do. Iola Johnson didn't get a C in math. I'm like, you don't even know Iola Johnson. He'd say, Iola Johnson wouldn't date that boy. I'm like, you don't know. And so she was always presented as a goal, even though both of my parents were my role models and actively involved in everything and made it to every sporting event. And, report card day, it's like they're standing at the door. Where's the report card? As if it were a paycheck, paying them for being their parenting. But it meant the world to me. Now, fast forward to 2015, we have Gayle King, Robert Roberts, and all of these wonderful women and men like Al Roker who represent diversity. But I think about the Today Show. You have Natalie, who is Latina. You've got Savannah Guthrie from Arizona. You've got Tamron Hall, someone named Hoda Kotb, whose name 10 years ago people were like, how do you pronounce it? And now she walks down the street, people scream, Hoda Kotb. Right. And you have this diverse range of women who we're America. We're representative of the people who live next door to you. And I'm very lucky to be there.
Tamron, when did you know that you wanted to go into broadcasting?
Day one. I've never wanted to do anything else. I did have an obsession with Johnny Carson very early on, and I thought I was going to be Johnny Carson, and then I thought we'd look a little different, and I didn't know, and so I wanted to be Johnny Carson.
Not Oprah.
Well, she wasn't around then.
Okay, so you were a kid,
yeah,
it was Johnny.
It was Johnny Carson. Oprah didn't come around until the 80s, and my first exposure to her was The Color Purple, the movie. I, of course, then, and the world, fell in love with her at that point. But in my formative early years, 10 and under, it was Johnny Carson. I loved Lucille Ball because I knew that she was a businesswoman. Weezy Jefferson because she was the richest black woman on TV. But that was my group.
Right.
And Carol Burnett, that was my wheelhouse. I don't know what they all had in common, but my single focus for a very long time was Johnny Carson.
Temple University, Philadelphia, has meant what to you?
Oh, my gosh. Well, first of all, it was 1,528 miles from the door of my parents' home in Burleson, Texas, to the door of Jones Hall, my dormitory, that I first lived in. I'd never slept over anyone's house in my life. My parents, very conservative and didn't, we didn't have sleepovers.
Religious family?
Very religious family, and so we were a very tight unit. And I went off to college, never having had a sleepover. Other than like a family member.
Seriously?
Absolutely. My aunt, I have an aunt that we affectionately call Aunt Sister, and my Uncle Roger. They were kind of like my sub-parents when my mom was working or my dad was...
People of the church?
They were, yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
this was my foundation. And if I needed a sleepover, I was going to sleep over at my aunt's house, hang out with my cousins, not anyone else. And so I went off to college, and it represented independence. And it was an opportunity really to show my parents that everything that they put into me was about to pay off. And my chief goal, my dad said, we don't have money for you to play around 5-6 years. And, that's when kids would talk about the 6-year plan. My dad's like, you're in and you're out. So I was in and I was out. And it was remarkable just to have that opportunity. But my mother cried. As my parents drove away, my mother cried and she said, come back home. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. You can go to Texas Tech. And I said, I got to do this. I got to do it.
And you go back and now you serve in Temple on the board.
Yeah, I'm on the board of trustees. It's an incredible honor that I didn't see coming. And I just, again, when you talk about, being the first African-American woman on the TODAY Show or being on this board, it's hard to process what all of it means,
It means a lot.
And I read it, it says like 39 board members and I'm like the 4th woman or something like that. I read those words, but I don't know how to process it. And I can only go back to little Tamron in Texas and say, well, someone else might be inspired.
Work on MSNBC. By the way, people can check you out when?
Every day, Monday through Friday, 11 Eastern time on MSNBC.
So you don't even run. You're in the 30 Rock building and you go right around.
Yeah. The TODAY Show ends at 10, and then I walk over underground to our studio there. And so I have about 30 minutes to talk to that team face to face. But I start talking to that team around 5 a.m. in the morning. So.
And the other show you do is a crime.
Yeah, Deadline Crime on Discovery ID.
Your personal connection to violent crime.
My sister, Renata, was found dead in her home. And at the time, we knew that she had been in a relationship that was plagued with domestic violence. And in fact, the last conversation she had was with my mother. And she expressed wanting to get out of this relationship and get out of the situation she was in. My mother believes that the person or a person in her home overheard the conversation and something escalated. The next morning, it was a Sunday morning, and I got a call from my mother saying that I needed to call my father, that the police had contacted them, and she was on her way to church and she was screaming and she'd pulled over, called my dad, and he said, I need you to call this police officer. He's at Renata's house, and it kind of went from there. And no one was ever charged. Someone brought in multiple times for questioning, and the police and the investigators told us they know exactly what happened, but they were unable to pursue it criminally. It still remains one of the most baffling things, but they were certain, and we are certain, we know who was responsible. But separate and apart from her death, we know and witnessed, and I witnessed, incidents of violence. And so part of the show that I do is related to what we felt in my family is a sense of helplessness, the things that I've learned after doing Deadline Crime, and as a result, working with a number of survivors of domestic violence and agencies that try to provide and do provide help all around this country to men, women, children, anyone who feels that their home is unsafe. It's been a learning experience for me, and one that serves as an inspiration for this show to talk to other victims and families, and not just with domestic violence, with Deadline Crime. It's the loss of a loved one in a tragic way that you don't see coming and that you don't know how to process. And in some cases, like with my family, you feel that there's not been justice.
We thank you for the work you do,
Thank you.
the impact that you are making, and for sharing the way you did. I can't even comprehend. None of us can. So On another note, everyone can check you out on the Today Show every day with your great colleagues over there on NBC and hosting MSNBC Live with Tamron Hall. Hours again?
11 a.m. Eastern Time. The Today Show, 9 o'clock hour. Deadline Crime. It's like 10 episodes a year. But I do want to point out, I have like 3 shows. Not one studio is this cold. Thank you. Thank you. Try the veal and the lamb hanging here.
I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna let it go. You were my favorite guest.
To quote my favorite person in Frozen, "Let it go because it's frozen
the great
in here."
Tamron Hall. You can catch your stand-up act. I love you. You're the best.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Now I have a
You're
cold. We'll be back right after this from our freezing cold studio here at the Tisch WNET studio in the heart of freezing cold Lincoln Center.
Visit us online at steveadubato.org. Email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/SteveAdubato, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
One of my favorite all-time authors we have in the house back again, James Kaplan, the author of Sinatra, the Chairman. Boy, I'll tell you, this is a great book. And Sinatra, the voice, last time around.
Frank the Voice, Sinatra the Chairman.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what makes this one different? It starts in 1954.
Yes.
He's just won the Academy Award for?
He's just won the Academy Award for From Here to Eternity.
He plays
Private Maggio. Yes.
Tell everyone why Maggio, that character, is so significant. Sinatra believed he was Maggio.
Sinatra believed he was Maggio. Maggio was, he was from Brooklyn, not Hoboken, but he was a skinny, small Italian-American who was downtrodden. Everybody walked all over him. And in a lot of ways, especially after World War II, when his career went down the tubes, Sinatra felt very downtrodden. So the role was a natural for him.
James, explain to folks. My wife was actually asking me, Jennifer was asking me last night, knowing that I was doing the interview, she said, why did Sinatra's career, quote, go downhill after that? Why?
Oh, boy, a lot of reasons. First of all, his records stopped selling after the war. During the war, he sang these ballads of longing that were perfect for wartime. After the war, popular music changed. Everything got very perky, a lot of novelty songs. He wasn't good at doing those. He didn't like them. That was one thing. That was just one thing. But
was the Ava Gardner thing the other thing?
Well, that was a big other thing. And there was also the fact that Frank was cited at a mafia conference in Havana in 1947. And there was a Hearst columnist from the Hearst papers there, cited Frank having dinner with Lucky Luciano and started writing these columns about Frank. It was a very conservative time politically. Frank was also an FDR liberal, and the Hearst papers didn't like him for that. They hated the fact that he was cited with Lucky Luciano. Then suddenly, he's stepping out with Ava Gardner. This is a married guy with 3 little kids at home. He became like a devil in the eyes of America.
How many years was he having a real tough time?
From about 1947 until he won that Oscar. 7 years bad luck.
And James, did he have to fight to get the role of Maggio?
He had to fight. Ava Gardner had to fight for him. She had gotten sick of him at that point. He was such a loser. Her movie career was going straight up. His was going down. She went to the head of Columbia Pictures, Harry Cohn, who was the biggest lech in Hollywood, told him that she would do a free picture for him. And he looked her up and down and thought, what else is she going to give me for free? And he gave Sinatra the screen test. It turned out that the other guy who did a good screen test, Eli Wallach, was doing a play in New York, and Frank got the role. It was no horse's head.
There was not.
There was not.
Yeah. So explain to folks, a reference to The Godfather, an offer you couldn't refuse, another reference that may or may not have happened. But here's the thing. How does winning the Academy Award for From Here to Eternity, Maggio, change Frank Sinatra's professional life?
It changes everything, because before that he was seen as a loser in Hollywood whose career was over. He had a friend, a literary agent named Swifty Lazar, and Swifty Lazar said, he's a dead man. Swifty Lazar said even Jesus couldn't get resurrected in this town. Well, Sinatra could, and he did. From the night he won that Oscar, his career started going straight back uphill instead of downhill.
What kind of things happened for him?
A big deal was that he had started even his record company, Columbia, dropped him during his bad years.
Right.
But he was picked up by a new company, Capitol Records.
Columbia to Capitol.
Columbia to Capitol, and he was introduced to a great arranger, young arranger he had never heard of.
Is that Nelson Riddle?
That is Nelson Riddle. And he started making these incredible albums with Nelson Riddle. And between the movie career being reborn and these incredible Capitol albums with Nelson Riddle, it was a career that shot up like a rocket in the 50s.
Help me on this. The night that Sinatra wins the Academy Award, does he go home alone?
Yes.
He goes home alone.
He goes home alone. He goes home alone. He had been, don't forget, at this point, this is 1954, he has left the mother of his children and his children. He had gone to Big Nancy's house before the Academy Awards.
Big Nancy, his wife.
Big Nancy is his wife.
Is Ava Gardner in Spain?
Ava Gardner is overseas. She is taken up with a bullfighter in Spain.
That is that bullfighter in Spain.
That is that bullfighter in Spain. So Frank has no wife. He stopped by to see his ex-wife, but he can't go back to her house after he wins the Oscar. He's alone. He's walking around Beverly Hills holding on to the statuette. He sits down on the steps of a church and he just has to think. His life has changed, but he's got nobody to tell it to.
The book also covers politics.
Yes.
Sinatra and the Kennedys, go.
Sinatra met Jack Kennedy at a Democratic fundraiser in LA in 1955, and these were two guys who instantly fell in love with each other. Jack Kennedy loved women. He loved beautiful women. He was a married man, but that didn't mean much to him, and in those days, politicians, especially attractive, charismatic politicians, were allowed to do what they wanted without being outed by the press. He loved beautiful women. Sinatra was the #1 world source of beautiful women, and he was knocked out by Sinatra's stardom, by his singing. Sinatra was an FDR liberal, dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. He saw this incredibly charismatic young politician and thought, this guy's going to be president. And so, and Sinatra was always attracted to power, and Kennedy had it in spades. So the two were made for each other.
The Kennedys shaft Sinatra.
Well, this is how it worked.
In Sinatra's mind.
Well, it was a shafting, and it was a public humiliation. In March of 1962, Jack Kennedy was going west. He was going to spend some R&R time at Sinatra's Palm Springs house, and there was probably going to be a little bit of naughtiness that would go on there. His brother, Jack Kennedy's brother, Bobby Kennedy, was Attorney General of the United States, and Bobby Kennedy had just been informed by J. Edgar Hoover that the President of the United States had a lady friend, a woman named Judith Campbell.
Who had the relationship with Sam Giancana.
Who had a relationship with the head of the Chicago mob, Sam Giancana.
Yeah.
At the same time, she was having the relationship with Jack Kennedy. Judith Campbell had been introduced to Jack Kennedy by Frank Sinatra, and Bobby Kennedy said to his brother, you may not stay at his house.
Is that how he winds up, Kennedy winds up staying at Bing Crosby's house?
Stayed at Bing Crosby's house instead, and that was a huge public humiliation for Sinatra. Sinatra took it all out, never got mad at Jack Kennedy, took it all out on Bobby Kennedy and on Peter Lawford.
Peter Lawford, who was an in-law to the Kennedy family.
Yeah, married to Jack's sister.
Some of the other major themes in the book that really matter. Jerry Lewis relationship matter here?
I think they did a lot of benefits together, but largely Jerry has always said to me, you know, I did a book with Jerry. Jerry said that he and Frank really moved in different worlds. That had mostly to do with the fact that Dean Martin and Frank were so close.
The Dean Martin thing, big theme in the book?
Big theme in the book.
Close, but not close.
Close, but not close. That's correct.
I don't get it.
You have to look at the psychology of Dean Martin. He was a strange cat. He was a guy who was so gifted. He was incredibly handsome. He was everything that Sinatra wanted to be. He was big, tall, strong, handsome.
He had been a boxer in Cleveland.
Could have been a boxer,
and he was tied to the mob. He had mob friends in Cleveland.
Yes, he did, and they helped him a little bit. But Dean could sing. He could sing wonderfully, although he always made fun of his own singing. And the most valuable gift that Dean Martin had was he had an incredible sense of humor.
Yes.
Incredible sense.
Quick timing.
Lightning timing. And Sinatra idolized Dean Martin, and Dean Martin always kept himself at a distance from everybody, even from Frank.
he also pulled away at times when he didn't want to party anymore.
Yes.
As I read in the book. You know, I recently saw Tony Bennett. My wife and I went to see Tony Bennett at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, 89 years young. And the way he's introduced is, and you know this, he's introduced with a voice track from Sinatra saying, I want to introduce this young kid.
Yes.
Guy who's
Yes.
got the greatest voice out there today.
Yes.
Tony
Yes.
Bennett.
Tony Bennett.
Go ahead.
Amazing singer. Big difference between Sinatra and Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett brought to his singing a quality of joy. You hear joy in hearing Tony Bennett sing. Sinatra never brought joy to his singing. Sinatra was like a walking opera. Everything was dramatic.
Tragic?
Tragic to a great degree, although when he's singing songs like You Make Me Feel So Young, I Got the World on a String, Fly Me to the Moon, you hear a great deal of buoyancy and positive energy, but not joy. Joy was not something in Sinatra's wheelhouse.
Need to ask you this. By the way, the book is called The Chairman. Sinatra.
Ask me anything.
The Chairman. Here's my question. Sinatra's 100th birthday.
Yes.
Right? We celebrate it.
December 12th.
100 years from now, James
Yes.
Kaplan, will we still be talking about Frank Sinatra?
Absolutely.
Because?
We will, because of that voice. People are fascinated with Sinatra today, and even young people are fascinated with him because of a combination of the mystique and the voice, that Rat Pack swagger, right, and the voice. But my contention is that if you had the mystique without the voice, that would fade away over time. If sometime in the future, 100 years from now, 500 years from now, 1,000 years from now, some survivors happen to find a Sinatra CD and stuck it in the antique player of the CD and heard that voice and had no idea about the Rat Pack or anything. They heard that amazing voice, a voice like no other. They would know it was an incredible voice. So 100 years from now, easy, without breaking a sweat.
James Kaplan, one of my favorite authors, and you will love him after this. Sinatra, the Chairman, James Kaplan. Frank, the voice before this, great stuff.
Steve, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Oscar Health Insurance, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, Johnson & Johnson, Valley National Bank, NJM, the Fidelco Group, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Driving safety is not a joke. It's not a punchline. It's more than just an ad campaign. It's a frame of mind. And it's an everyday commitment. By taking a few simple steps, many car accidents can be avoided. Become an advocate for driving safety today. This message has been brought to you as a public service by NJM Insurance Group.